Greetings, Flesh Wound Horror freaks, and welcome to Flesh Wound Horror Live. I'm Flesh Wound Dan, joined, as always, by Todd Loya.
Good evening.
Producer Todd Loya. Sorry, didn't call you by your full name.
Do I need to do it back? Now, just in case you guys were wondering, this is not a Flesh Wound Classic tonight. We are live and in color.
We are live and in color. But hey, thanks for listening to the not highly edited at all Last House on the Left flashback last night. So
I legitimately turned down the beeps because they were too loud and there were so many of them.
50th anniversary figured, we did that a while back. Can do a
it's been 2 years.
Re-upload,
Yeah. It was. I was planning the re-upload anyway because I needed to, tweak a few things. So it felt like it was the perfect excuse to do it.
Perfect excuse. So there you go.
Right. Oh, Daily Ghost. I have a soft spot for all things LA these days. So this was a fun pickup. I am with you, and there's quite a few. There's a new one. Well, it's not a new one. Hot Tamale is one I've been recently wanting to watch. It's another LA based movie. Where the Day Takes You. Great LA picture. Streets with Christina Applegate. I'll keep going if we talk about that. So maybe
name drop them. Most people haven't heard of a lot of those.
Well, here's one for Dan. Angel, of course.
Oh, Angel's awesome.
No, there's a lot. I do recommend Streets with Christina Applegate and Where the Day Takes You. Those two are they're not horror, but they're really, really good LA pictures.
I don't know if just LA Jabber, nothing else, that if that's like the best, like nostalgia, like, you know what? LA Jabber feels like home.
I will tell you, seeing some of that. We'll get to that one. We'll get to Jabber.
It's like, it's just things aren't the same as they used to be. There's nobody like going around injecting people, jabbing people. So, anyways, but I get what you mean. So we've got we'll get right into the reviews tonight, and we're gonna kick it off with the patron requested review from Ben Grimm, Triggered, also from Wild Eye Releasing.
This is our second Wild Eye show in a week.
Yeah, I just wanted to confirm that real quick. So yes, Triggered is a slasher film from writer-director Christopher Wesley Moore. And in this one, Callie Bishop has a lot of issues. Besides the fact that her town is full of brain-dead bigots, there's a serial killer on the loose, and now no one's taking her problems seriously. With the help of her friend Ian, Callie devises a plan to get the attention back on her and her issues by faking an attack from the killer. Callie's plan backfires when the real killer sets their sights on the two friends in an effort to make them the victims they've been claiming to be. How can Callie and Ian find their way out of their web of lies before the killer claims them as yet another one of their many victims? All right. So, Triggered. This is one I was aware of for a while. Just, one of those movies just never got around to. And I'm actually glad that Ben recommended it. I want to say, and it was a little bit ago, but I think we reviewed this director's film, Blessed Are the Children, which also kind of like timely based on like what's going on right now in the news. And I remember liking that one quite a bit. If memory serves. Again, it's been a little bit, but so I recognized that and I was curious. So Todd, I was pleasantly surprised with this one. First off, the acting, Meredith Moeller and Jesse Dalton, who play Callie and Ian, a lot of chemistry. Did not feel like I was watching like a low budget or a micro budget indie film with that level of acting. I think they were both really, really good. The Callie character is very, very annoying, but there's still like some moments of humanity between her and Ian. Ian, very likable, just kind of stuck with that friend you kind of can't quite shake, always getting you into trouble. And it reminded me a lot of The Hunt in a way, where that's a movie like a lot of people probably looked at it and thought, another like message movie, but I don't feel this one. This one I think was a really clever satire slasher film that doesn't like
That's
beat you over the head.
That's
in a
funny though.
dumb way.
You bring up The Hunt. Like I think if you saw that trailer now, I think you'd hate that movie versus that 3 years ago.
The Hunt. What do you mean? The
Like
trailer or the movie?
Yeah, no, just the trailer. You'd be like totally against it.
Yeah, no, because like I was like, God, I just be clever, don't. And that The Hunt's very clever. The
Just
Hunt
like,
is
yeah.
actually probably, I mean,
Top
honestly,
5 Blumhouse.
I higher than that. Probably. I mean, I'd have to go over the whole
Well,
catalog.
don't worry.
But,
We'll make sure we do a top 5 Blumhouse Dan shows.
no, we're good.
Halloween special.
I feel that computer issues coming on, Todd. But no, this one I thought was like just really well done. It doesn't hit you over the head also with like CG gore or anything. It's very basic sort of slasher scenario. It's this is really bizarre because I don't mean this in a negative way, but I couldn't unsee it. But Jesse Dalton, who plays Ian, is like a dead ringer for Ezra Miller. Which I know this was made in 2019. I'm sure there's no no attempt. It's just it is what it is. So yeah, this one it gets surprisingly graphic in a couple of spots with some sexual stuff that felt like a little harder than I would have expected versus the tone of the rest of the movie. And there's some twists and turns. Good usage of Amanda Weiss, who is it's more than a cameo. She gets some decent screen time, and and the twists and turns, all of that works quite well. I laughed. I was engaged for the entire runtime, which is saying something because again, we've shit on this a lot lately, but this one is an hour and 54 minutes. It's a long time if you don't have the story, but this one had the story. I wasn't looking at my watch or anything, so kudos. I'm okay with longer movies. Just make sure you can back that up.
I know, and I was worried about that too. I saw 154. I was like, or an hour and 54. I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's good. Ben recommended it because that went a long way. Even if he has a bad taste in Last House on the Left, so I'll still let it go.
Hey, Jay, no spoilers in the chat. God damn it, Jay. Ruining the movies, Jay. Come on, man. So yes. Yeah, I was like really, I think this is a gem, and I don't think anybody's really seeing it, which is a shame. I mean, hopefully it's done reasonably well,
but if they do want to see it, where can they watch it, Dan?
They can watch this one on Tubi.
That's right.
Yes. Or pick up a physical copy. Like, honestly, I'm going to buy a physical copy of this one. I was very happy with it. This is even something like, if it got a Shudder run or something, I can see it gaining a bit of a following. Yeah. No, I enjoyed it.
Come on, we got to get some Wild Eye on Shudder. I don't know if there's any.
You know what? I don't think so. At least, did they put Velocipaster up there for a minute? I could be wrong. Remember. But I don't think there's a whole lot. And
I don't think so.
This is one of the better titles in my opinion. I think this kind of hit a home run. So yeah, if you see this one, comment hit comment in the comment section and let us know what you thought. This is kind of like I talk about this a lot. There's nothing more pleasant than just randomly coming across something, or in this case, Ben recommending it, that you might not have looked twice at otherwise, and like, oh shit, now I've got a movie I really love. That's the thrill of old school going to the video store. So this is, I think this one, check it out. It's worth your time, all hour and 54 minutes of it. And I think you will enjoy it. So, Todd, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, you nailed it. Like I already said, like I was scared of the runtime, but it is like beginning to end. It keeps you engaged. I wasn't sure where the story was going because we start one way and kind of move. And I really like that. Um, I know you were mad at that character for like the first 10 minutes. You're like, "Fuck this bitch."
Yeah, but it's not. I don't know. This one again, it's not like trying. It's having fun with it without trying to like just be woke or
Is it the
anti woke or anything. Like it's not. It's just trying to tell its story and have fun, poke fun at people,
Yeah, but there's other ones that do the same thing you get mad at, but we're not going to go into that.
but not clever. I don't care. Make any point you want to make. I've said this 1,000 times. Make any point you want to make, no matter how radical. Make it, but do it in a clever way.
Yeah.
Now, there's not been a lot that have done it in a clever way, in my opinion, lately. But this I did enjoy a lot. So
Yeah, I definitely recommend it.
absolutely. And yeah, like I said, you don't have to have a lot of money, and this one's not a bloodbath. That if you're going in there for like sick kills, there's not
No,
a
there's
ton
not.
of that. But it doesn't need it, and I'm glad they didn't go too over the top because then you're looking at the shitty CG blood cartoon spray all over the goddamn place, and I hate that. So yeah. Todd, what do you rate this one?
I'm a 4. I really like this one. I was actually teetering on a 4.5, but I'm gonna go with 4.
I'm a 4 as well. As far as any like budgetary restraints or anything, I don't think anything really hurt this one. I think yeah.
We got a question from our buddy Kruger. Give us an example of woke done right, Dan. I'm assuming he means other than trigger.
I'm not. See, again, I don't want to be constantly harping on woke because that can mean a lot of different things. If you want to talk about poking fun at current division, I'd say The Hunt is great.
That's not current though, Dan.
And I
That's
don't think
like
it pisses anybody off. Well, Triggered is the most recent.
no. This is 2019 also.
Yeah, was
The Hunt was
The Hunt
2019.
Okay.
It was 3 weeks before we got shut down, like quarantine.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, those are some good examples of it. It's done wrong a lot though, but yeah. There you go. Woke on the woke crowd. So that's Triggered. What do we got coming up next, Todd?
Final caller.
Notes. Final caller. Hold on a minute. I always prep ahead of time and then I like set the notes in the wrong order. So there you go. Final caller. So this one I am excited to talk about. Also from Wild Eye Releasing, from writer director Todd Sheets, which if you're a fan of underground shot on video horror, he is an OG going way back. I think if I'm not mistaken, Visual Vengeance has his film Moonchild coming out later this year. So I think that's on the docket to Blu-ray. And in this one, Roland Bennett, an obnoxious late-night radio host specializing in the supernatural, receives a mysterious call from a man claiming to be the Outsider, a serial killer threatening to kill a woman live on air. The latest from legendary cult horror director Todd Sheets of Bone Hill Road, Clownado, and Zombie Bloodbath. So Todd Sheets, I remember in kind of what I call like the great zombie drought where we weren't getting shit. He had like the zombie bloodbath movies. Yeah. Can't remember if I heard of those first in Fangoria or Gore Zone or whatever at that particular time, but I did hear about them and I lost my mind. Like zombie bloodbath, I need to get this. And the VHS was always super expensive. It was hard to come by, and it was a chore to get it. Any zombie movie made around that era was like must see because we were starving for it. They weren't making zombie films, for generally speaking, at that time. And that was a ordeal to get a hold of it. Not saying it's very good, but you know, that was like the hunt, the thrill of the hunt, and I remember it well for those movies. I know they released the Zombie Bloodbath trilogy a while back on DVD. I feel like you might see Blu-rays of those at some point.
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah,
I was maybe not in HD, but yeah, they could toss them on a Blu-ray, which I'm totally fine with.
Yeah, it'll look pretty much the same, but you know,
the one difference I know people are, what's the point? There is the one difference is it's going to look better because it's going to be it's not going to be an MPEG 2 compression. It's going to be, but with that, they're sourced from VHS. But either way, it's a little bit better looking.
Yeah. It's always going to look a little bit better. I know some people are critical of SOV type stuff on Blu-ray,
and honestly, I mean, I'd rather have it on Blu-ray anyway. And it's a better, I don't want to say protected, but with the scratch layer, it's a little bit less of a worry with a Blu-ray. I don't know. Yeah. That's my reasoning.
No, absolutely. So yeah, I don't know this for a fact, no inside info or anything, but I kind of have a feeling maybe we can expect some of the early Todd Sheets stuff from the Visual Vengeance line, especially if they have Moonchild, I believe it was called. So we'll see. But anyways, this one is a slasher film, again, in a radio station, which I thought was kind of a cool gimmick. I'm a huge fan of Pontypool. I don't know, there's just something about that setting that just kind of works for me. And I think, yeah, that's just a brilliant book. But so in this one, it's definitely in the horror comedy realm. There's a few things I kind of wish they didn't do, like the random posters for other Todd Sheets movies and everything. That sounds like a little bit of nitpicky, but I don't know. I thought it was just came off cheesier than it needed to be. The radio host wearing the shirt, and it just, I don't know. It bothered me a little bit, and I don't know why. But as far as kills go in this, we get a lot of practical stuff. We get a buzzsaw ripping through like the in between your fingers, which is very uncomfortable to look at. Some fun stuff like that. There is the acting kind of a little bit on the amateur side of things, but not too distracting. Douglas Epps, who plays Roland Bennett, very committed. He kind of plays the loudmouth asshole radio host fairly well. Everybody else, like I said, nobody too distracting. It's just definitely at that level where it's like, okay, this may not have been like the first choice if you had money to make this, but everybody does a pretty good job. Jack McCord, who plays the outsider, actually he did quite well. Very creepy, over the top when he needed to be. I enjoyed his performance. Actually, Douglas Epps was not. This movie had a bit of a troubled production because the lead actor got sick, I believe, or something, and had to just drop out in the middle of the shoot. So, which I've been there. That fucking sucks. And Douglas Epps stepped in like at the last minute. And overall, hey, I know how stressful something like that can be. So I think he did a good job. So yeah, asshole radio host. There's some lines. The cobwebs in your pussy line, and different things like that were pretty funny. It delivers for the Gorehounds, not as over the top as I heard it would be, but you do get like, yeah, there is some b-hole trauma, let's put it that way, in this film. That with a baseball bat that was pretty disgusting. And yeah, I enjoyed this one. It doesn't overstay its welcome. Don't know if it hits that perfect mix though between the horror and the comedy. At times, I felt like it might have been better off just dropping some of the silly bits and just being more straightforward. Because I don't know. I don't know if it quite hit me in the funny bone like it should have. But how about you, Todd?
Yeah, I've seen, other movies with similar setups, like, you mentioned Pontypool, which I think executes better.
Oh, I love Pontypool.
Yeah. Um, I did have fun with this one. It wasn't great. You mentioned some of the acting. I like the concept and I like the story. I wish it was executed a little better, but I mean, it had a nice short runtime too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't overstay its welcome, which is
No, not at all.
important. I like the premise enough that I think I actually expected a little bit more from this one.
Okay. Maybe.
Yeah, I think that was like part of I don't want to say issues again. Like this one was entertaining, but just didn't quite all come together like I had hoped. Todd Sheets is I've really enjoyed some of his work. He's kind of a mixed bag for me. It just depends. Like I remember, I think Violent New Breed might have been one of his earlier ones, and I remember that being like really ambitious for the time and the budget again. Because, like I said, when I found out about the zombie bloodbath stuff, I like okay, I need to know all there is to know about this Todd Sheets guy and track down everything. In fact, Violent New Breed would probably be another one that I might expect at some point from the Visual Vengeance line, perhaps. But he has lately done some really good work. He's grown as a filmmaker. I mean, this guy's been around, since the late '80s, I believe. Started, stuff like Sorority Babes and the Dance-a-thon of Death. That not even a real sequel, but he had some early stuff that was rough, and he absolutely grew if you follow his career path from then to now. I haven't actually watched it yet. Dreaming in Purple Neon, I believe I've heard some really good stuff about. That's one that they're advertising all over this movie. Which again, I fucking hate that. I wish people wouldn't just like characters like if you want to have some poster in the background, but like characters wearing the shirt is so dumb. But anyways, having said that, there's some nice gore bits. It's a solid one-time watch, and I give it 2.5 stars.
Yeah, I'm the exact same. It was an average watch for me.
Cool. So Todd, shall we talk the Jabber?
Is it already Jabber time?
It is Jabber time.
Okay,
Todd. We're
okay.
two in. It's Jabber time, Todd. We can't just let it main event because it's the Jabber time.
I thought we were. I totally yeah.
No,
well, that's fine.
Doesn't just automatically get it because it makes you fond of reminiscent of old school LA.
I don't know. Maybe he's the Atlanta Jabber now.
That's a sequel, Todd. Actually, I feel like there's a Versus movie on the horizon where the Atlanta Jabber takes on the LA Jabber. Maybe we could star in it. Wild Eye, if you're listening, I bet you're selling a lot of Blu-rays, and that Todd and I Versus movie. Picture that cover. Do I turn this way, Todd? Get the Freddy versus Jason thing going there. Todd's not even going to humor it.
I'm doing it. Look.
Well, there you go.
Okay, and
the moment's passed, Todd.
I feel dumber for doing it too. I'm actually going to edit that out now.
No, you're not going to edit
take
that
two.
out.
There you go.
God damn it. All right, so L.A. Jabber and nothing else. Just L.A. Jabber is one of the rarest and most sought-after movies of the shot-on-video era. Jeff, a mentally unstable young man, is diagnosed with the Jabber and takes his anger out on the world by filling a syringe with his own tainted blood and trolling the seedy streets of Los Angeles looking for victims in an acid-washed and venomous delirium. police slowly piece together his crimes in an attempt to stop this ticking virus time bomb from jabbing again. This is the first wide release of the movie since it was self-distributed on VHS by director Drew Goddard himself, and the Blu-ray is packed with newly produced bonus features and commentary from the original creators. So first, before we get into the movie, I will say this is a brilliantly put together Blu-ray as far as extra features, all of the little goodies that they give you in
and the inside has the original,
the stickers,
the original title for home video, which you can say the whole thing.
Jabber. Yeah, it's a little booklet, and
we'll show the Jabber cover.
The Jabber cover right there.
Yeah,
yes,
that's the Jabber artwork.
They did, and we'll get into that, but some people felt it might have been a little bit much, so yes, it was just Jabber at some point.
Just in case, that's also has a lot to do with.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So I believe they actually started shooting this in 91. So the virus was very, relevant and in the news at that time. So I also have a few other suggestions for you guys that hold on one second here, because I actually have one to show off that deals with some similar themes, and that is City in Panic Massacre Video. Put this one out there. It's kind of about a serial killer that's in Toronto that's taking out people who have the virus. And yeah, I don't know if this is still in print again. Maybe at some point
Video, you got a 50-50, but
yeah,
I think we may have to cover that one now.
Yeah, actually, if we had more time, I was going to say it would have paired perfectly with this.
It's LA set also, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm already.
No. City in Panic is Toronto.
Oh, that's right. You said that.
My bad. Sorry.
No, that's my bad. You said it.
Yeah, and it also there's another one called, and that's actually based on a real killer in Toronto, I believe, an actual serial killer, which not a lot of Canadian serial killer stories out there, minus like the Ken and Barbie murders. So that might be a interesting little movie for you guys to watch. There's another one from 1988 called Perfect Victims with Deborah Shelton. That's another one, similar themes that also might be worth you checking out, just to throw out some other titles if this premise interests you. So I think it's important before we get into it to set expectations.
Piz in the chat saying Jabber is the Gone with the Wind of SOV exploitation. So that's setting our standards pretty high.
Yes, and what's up, Piz? Brian, anybody that I've missed in the chat tonight. I know everybody was curious to hear about the Jabber tonight. So yeah, I want to set expectations for what this is. This is not like a extreme shot on video gore fest at all. So if you're like looking for the Jabber to draw a lot of blood, the people getting jabbed with the needle is about as far as that goes. This one is more of a thriller police procedural than it is any kind of like extreme horror gore fest. So some might be picking this up expecting Ebola syndrome. This is not Ebola syndrome. So again, expectations, it's important to throw that out there. Having said that, I think the characters are much better developed than your standard shot on video title. It's very well made. I mean, this is something that they had like no money. Again, dealing with things that I've dealt with too in the past, where like one actress loses.
He's talking about behind the scenes stuff, by the way, right now. Kind of I got to make sure you say that stuff you were dealing with.
Yes. And there's an actress that lost like a bunch of weight, and in between the long shoots, and that's all a nightmare. But the end product is very professional, and it looks really good. If you do have a fondness for LA at this time, there is some scenery.
I wish we got a little more, I'll be honest.
Yeah, but it's a time capsule film, and I think if you have that fondness, again, it sounds weird being nostalgic for a place because of a movie called The LA Jabber, but Ghost has nostalgia. Todd has nostalgia, and I love the ending in this too. That's another thing. Story, not necessarily what these old shot on video films are known for, but I did think the ending was like it kind of made me laugh, even though I don't think it was supposed to be funny, but it did make me laugh. And this Blu-ray is stacked top to bottom. Like, it's amazing what they're doing with these films. I mean, this is LA Jabber. This is better than a Criterion release. You get more material than
I'll be honest, Criterion releases their extras are kind of bland, unlike here.
Their extras are kind of bland. I did enjoy there's an interview with Jackie Kong, who of course everybody remembers from Blood Diner, and she talks a little bit about her connections to this film. She didn't work on it, but with an actor. There's an interview with the lead who talks about this movie being written kind of scene by scene with no full script, and he has some good bits of information on the shoot. And the director interview also, the director was known for a lot of acting. He acted, of course, in Blood Diner with Jackie Kong, Evil Spawn and Deep Space for Fred Olen Ray, and he did Cannibal Hookers for Donald Farmer. So pretty cool. Runs down his career a little bit. And also, what's interesting about this, he talks about not using gay characters in the film for sensitivity reasons, which, to be honest, I kind of was a little bit surprised at that. I kind of assumed that this would be just, again, trying to be as offensive as humanly possible. But it's not that kind of movie, so you shouldn't expect it. And yeah, talks a little bit about shooting on video at the time, distribution, and how expensive just printing a VHS cover was then. I really like this. For film nerds, I think there's a lot of great info, and irregardless of what you think of the movie, I think it's a really good package. And so far, Visual Vengeance is very pleasing to the creator. And Todd, you know what? Nobody jizzed on my disc. So
you know what? I will tell you this.
There's no stains. There's no LA splatter there either.
My cat people got here yesterday. I watched it. It was nice and clean.
There you go. You
haven't opened up Dog Soldiers to find out yet, though.
Keep the kitty clean. Absolutely.
We'll see when we get the fog, though.
Ooh, the fog, yeah.
Which we will have an unboxing of that. So if there's jizz on it, you'll get to see it live.
There you go. They will. They're going to start charging you an extra $10 for it being jizz free. That's what they're going to.
They already do that. You have to pay you can pay insurance now to get. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, no, I know they do, but jizz insurance.
Well, I mean, if you have the jizz insurance, then it should have been.
Are we living in jizz insurance, in a jizz insurance world now, Todd?
We are.
It's a shame. Yes. So yeah. Yes.
Cliff Booth with a quick reminder.
Oh, Star Trek 2 and Jaws in theaters this September.
Yep.
That is cool. There's a lot of new stuff though. I'm looking forward to. Barbarian, I'm excited for, but
can't wait to talk about it. Been waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jaws is in 3D and in IMAX, and in 3D IMAX if you're lucky. I'm gonna go check it out tomorrow in Prime 3D because that's the closest one.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe I'll get out and see that tomorrow if I have time. I'll see. I have to see that vampire movie still, but yeah. That they advertised, even though that's a twist.
I know.
So what did you think of the Jabber, Todd?
Yeah, I mean, it's not my favorite of tonight's batch, but I do like the nostalgia factor, and it's just such one of those curiosity pieces, like that's lost to time
Hmm.
or almost lost to time. So I like this era of filmmaking. Do I think it was really good? No, but did I have fun with it? 100%. So
I think City and Panic, like I said, pair it together. It'll be a double feature that kind of makes sense, and um, they're definitely they're definitely edgy. They're even edgy now. Like I don't know that you could make L.A. Jabber now.
no.
Not on any kind of budget, certainly. So it is unique for the time. So yeah, pair it with City and Panic. 555 is another one I always throw out there. If
Yeah.
you're kind of in
And
an
are we getting a new
SOV
version
mood.
of it? Didn't Massacre announce, but we just don't know if it's another Blu or DVD, right?
For 555.
Yeah.
Well, Blu-ray would be a debut. That's not been
No,
on
no,
Blu-ray.
I know that, but I
Yeah.
know that we're getting another from Massacre. I just don't know DVD or Blu-ray.
I keep forgetting to keep up with them. They're like you order from them and it might be like 6 months or something insane before you get it. I still have to get like Toxic Zombies. I just forget
I
because
know.
yeah, I got something from them a while back, but yeah, I'll make it a point to check their website tonight and see what's like going on with them because yeah.
Ben,
Uh,
Ben mentioned they announced they will put the invitation on an R-rated version when it hits VOD.
Now, see, I thought
They,
it was R.
I
Was
don't
it
even remember.
PG-13 in
It
theaters?
could have been. Apparently, it was.
Oh,
But
well, yeah. So
all right,
maybe reason to wait, I guess. What do you rate this one, Todd?
I'm a 3.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 3 too because I do think it's unique, and I can't hold anything against it for not being like
Okay,
the.
I'm gonna just stop it right here. If you buy a movie called L.A. Jabber and look at this cover and think you're gonna get something else, then that's kind of on you.
A lot of people I think, oh, this is gonna be so wild. I'm like, well, it's just a
uh,
thriller. The most offensive
okay.
thing about it is just the premise. Like,
See, they're thinking of like a modern mock
I think that
exploitation,
some people
like
are
a.
going to want more of a gory slasher. And
That's
this
yeah,
is
that's what I
not
mean. But I mean,
that.
you kind of go
So,
back. I
yeah,
think that throwback style mentality, but the
yeah,
SOVs are totally different.
yes, yeah. The SOVs are very, very different. But
All
yeah.
right.
So, all right, moving on to our next film, and before we do that, be sure to subscribe patreon.com/fleshwoundfeatures. We got a lot of stuff up there right now and a lot of really cool stuff coming. Maybe something kind of historical at some point. Just throwing out the tease, don't know when, but might be something pretty huge there. We'll let you know if we get closer to that. But before then, oh, and listen to our Amityville in Space review, which we dropped last night. Check that out. All right, so our next film, The Dead Sleep Soundly, from writer-director Jacob Parrott. And in this neo-noir horror thriller, a mysterious drifter attempts to reconcile with his dark past, leading him to wander the city streets nightly in search of meaning. But after stumbling upon a street gang known as the Crusaders and two young women they are pursuing, he finds himself on the path of murder and ultimate redemption as he attempts to save them and himself. All right, so not doesn't really come up a lot on the show, but I am kind of a film noir fan. I love just the feel and the aesthetic of film noir. This is a very low budget movie. I did a little bit of research, and I think somewhere somebody said like maybe like $1,000, something crazy. I'm sure it was probably more than that with incidentals and everything, but not a whole lot of money. And I'm somewhat familiar with Jacob Parrott for a film he did called Spine Chiller. I don't think we reviewed it, but I think it's like a Halloween set film, I believe. He also did Weird Fiction, uh, all like very, very low budget stuff. But this guy really makes the best of it. There's a lot of production, some solid production values for the lack of money. And that's the same here. It's kind of a film noir. It does have a horror twist that I won't ruin for anybody as the film goes on. It's lit extremely well. It captures that feel of a great film noir from the past, which is not something super easy to do for no money. I thought all the actors were good. There's a few like action portions here that, yeah, sure, like that's you could have used a few more bucks to be honest, but they keep it all basic. There's nothing too distracting about it. I think the lead actor, who Derek Hyde, I thought he was actually great. He kind of pulled off that silent hero really well. Taylor Rhodes, who plays Tex, the gang leader, thought he was really did some solid acting here, and I would have liked a little bit because I would have liked a little bit more with Derek's character and Rose Spencer, who plays the girl, as she's credited as. I think they could have maybe established their relationship a little bit better. This is a weird one because it's barely like just over an hour, and I actually could have used a little more between those two. A little more with that romance that develops, I think would have helped this one along. They don't really have a ton of screen time together. So this is one of the rare cases where, like the last couple Wild Eye shows we've done, I've always said like you don't need to hit this 90-minute length. Do 50 minutes an hour. That's fine. But this one was good enough that I could have taken like 10 minutes more or so to establish those two and their relationship. Having said that, if you are a fan of film noir with that horror twist that does come, because it's definitely a horror movie, I did enjoy this one quite a bit. It's moody, it's well acted, it's very well made, and yeah, I had a good time. How about you, Todd?
I think you had a little bit better time than me. It's funny you mentioned the film noir. I'm
Too
also
slow for you?
no. I've actually been going through the Kino sets finally because I've been having them for a
Oh,
while. So,
nice.
but I do like film noir. And I don't know if it was because it was on a budget. I didn't. I agree we needed a little bit more screen time with those two.
Mhm.
I'm not mad I watched it. It's nothing like that. It's just not. I wanted more of it. Yeah, it's just one that. See, I can't complain about the runtime, like you mentioned. It was like an hour, but I don't know. I wanted something more from it. I think is where I am.
Mhm.
And I don't know if it was just the low budget hurt it a bit trying to be a noir, or what, but it's honestly out of today's it might be my least favorite. Not that I hated it though.
Yeah, it may not be for everybody. I enjoyed it. It's almost one I wouldn't mind, like if they were able to raise the money, even remaking this one,
Yeah.
because I do think there was enough there that they could have expanded a little bit. Um, yeah, yeah, it ran a little short, but kudos because I was compelled. I did enjoy the story very much and the characters. So yeah, let's go ahead and rate this one. What say you, Todd?
I'm a 2.
Okay, I'm a 3.
Okay.
I did. I did. I like this one. I think it's a solid indie. So with that being said, we are going to later. We're going to be doing something that again, keep your eyes on
Are you
that
trying to say
Patreon.
we're recording a top secret project next?
We're recording a super top secret project that
Which
will totally redefine horror.
see, I thought you were going to go the greatest podcast in all of podcasts.
The greatest podcast in all of podcasts, Todd.
Dan Schiavone
Yes.
over here.
Yes. But all seriousness aside, all kidding aside, it is something that I think will be really cool. So I'll just say again, our October content, check that out. We've been hard at work, and I think you'll have a lot of great live and taped stuff that that you'll have something every day from us at this point. I think is safe to say.
And dropping in about 15 minutes on Patreon, we have night 5 of
Slashtober.
Thank you. I could remember.
Part 3, Halloween Nights.
There you go.
There you go.
You can go check that out if you're a Adventurer Patreon member.
An Adventurer Patreon, absolutely. We appreciate that. And I'll start teasing it. Scarefest. So at least I will be there. Maybe I can bully Todd into showing up. You never know, since you've got Kentucky roots now.
I would not Kentucky, but I'll actually just be leaving there on October 1st. So there's no way I can get back that quick.
Todd. Well, I'll still bully you, and maybe you will. But anyways, Scarefest. I will be there representing Flesh Wound Features, and not as a guest. I'm just going, but I think we're gonna shoot some different content. There's a lot of podcasters that are going to be down there, so you should be very excited if you watch us and various friends of the show. I know Piz is in the chat. Is going to be down there. Jay the Stingray is going to be down there. Christian Hannah Horror is going to be down there. It's I believe we're going to get Lauren down there. You're going to have a lot of interesting live videos, I think, with everybody. Dollar Tree came up in the chat, and I want to cram as many podcasters as possible in Dollar Tree, just so we can film us like fighting over the dollar DVDs and Blu-rays.
I want to see that. Better be live, and someone better yell out "World Star." I'm gonna be disappointed.
World Star. I will hit Jake Slaughterport with a Twisted Tea.
No, you figured out why Pugs isn't here. We're doing a project with Jordan Peele.
If Jordan Peele did, yes, Jamie Hart will be there. I'm not naming a lot of people because, quite frankly, like just about everybody. S'mores and Doors will be in the house. Yeah, I'm sure I'm leaving people off. But
Vegas, Dan votes for the Moonlight Bunny Ranch. I'm telling you that now.
Oh, if we go to Vegas, like I think you'd have a couple podcasters that wouldn't come back.
I see if it was Vegas, I'd be there. Pugs be there. We might even be able to get Kruger there.
I'll just like propose to Air Force Amy, and yeah, I could be like the muscle on the ranch, Todd.
All right. I don't.
Nobody's gonna fuck with the guy in this hat.
I don't want to hear you talking about the Moonlight Bunny Ranch and your muscle. So on that, we might want to get out of here.
These ones, Todd. No, these ones. Get your mind out of the goddamn gutter, Todd. Everything's sexual with you, goddamn it. Fucked up. So, anyways, yes, we're gonna go shoot super secret, top secret, never to be duplicated content right now. And you guys have a good night. Thank you so much, and we'll see you at Scarefest.
Good night.